Easter we know today as the time when Jesus rises from the dead and gives the apostles extraordinary proof of his power and divine might. Catholics at this time decorate baskets, paint eggs, go to church, and of course resolve to make internal improvements. I've always been fascinated by the fact that a lot of Catholics shout that pagans worship the devil. Many years ago this was a very popular phrase, but now it is almost forgotten. And only the church has a monopoly on the truth. While later they use the customs taken from the pagans and treat them as if they belonged to themselves. All this is due to Pope Gregory the Great, who in the 6th century, in order to make sure that people would accept the new faith, did not order pagan temples to be destroyed or traditions to be changed, but to give them a Christian meaning and change the patron saints. First, let's start with one of the most famous symbols of Easter, which is of course the egg, which according to Catholicism is a symbol of the resurrection of Jesus, which of course was adopted from the pagans, who have long identified eggs with the symbol of life, and during the spring solstice, which is the celebration of the rebirth of life, decorated them in various ways. Interestingly, the eggs were decorated with a swastika symbol, for example. However, this was no reference to men with the funny mustache, because originally the swastika was a symbol of the sun and cheerfulness. The resurrection of God itself is also nothing new. For example, the Greeks in spring celebrated the rebirth of the god of vegetation, Adonis, who died and yet came back to life. Similarly was with the god of shepherds, Tammuz, or the god of death and rebirth, Osiris, who died but with the time returned from the dead. Identically is the symbol of the hare, whose image appears in the Catholic Easter and signifies a sinner hiding in the rocks, and for pagans, hare was a symbol of reproduction and sensuality. It is the same with the lamb. For Catholics, it is a symbol of the sacrifice of Jesus, because the lamb was often sacrificed. For pagans, the lamb was also a gift, only that to the gods. It is also worth noting the entry of Jesus to Jerusalem, where people were to greet him with palms. Now the palm is a symbol of this event. Not so long ago, however, the Slavs used special palm trees made of 3 branches, which were lightly struck. Men hit women delicately with a waika, or vice versa. This was supposed to give them fertility. In some parts of the world this tradition is still practiced, but it is associated with the passion of Jesus on the cross and not with fertility. The same is true of Wet Monday, which was practiced by the Slavs as a symbol of health and cleansing of negative energy accumulated during the winter, while the church called it a game through which people celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. The same is true of the blessing of food and the Easter breakfast, which was practiced by the pagans for a long time in the form of feast, during which part of the food was blessed and given to the gods. That's it for today's episode. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like under this video. I also invite you to check out my new book, Slavic Soul, and to like my fan page. All the best, Joseph Yaroslavs.